Good Friday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. Glad that you are with me tonight. Along for the ride. I think that has been the phrase of choice to use to introduce the show each time. So I am glad that you are along for the ride tonight. Let's make sure all the monitors are up and going, and I believe they are. Brian watching live from Colgate EMS. Well, a shout out outside of Bryan County. Thanks for watching, Brian. Appreciate that. Good to see your name up there as well. A couple other folks I want to give a shout out tonight as names do pop up on my screen, and I hope I can keep up with everything monitor-wise tonight. It's Friday. It's a Friday night. So, Chase, appreciate seeing your name up there. That's my precious one watching tonight as well. And, hey, listen, let me know if you're here on a Friday night. Go figure. That is absolutely cool. Although Friday night in 2020 doesn't necessarily mean what it did long time ago. Hi, Teresa. Glad that you're here tonight. And hi, Jaylee Bell. Jaylee Bell says, hi, Granddaddy. So I want to definitely give a shout out to the grand girl. I have a grand girl and a grand boy. So 2 grandkids, and all that we're going to have for a long, long time to come. That's all I'm saying. Okay. As for notes tonight, you probably can tell I'm flying solo tonight. Notes tonight are not where I thought they were a little bit earlier. That's okay. It's all up here. It's all up here. And that makes Mrs. Patriot so uncomfortable when I say that. So let's go ahead and let's get to this really quickly because I want to give you a chance to enter if you haven't already entered. This is a gift card. A gift card to the house, which I was there in office today for a little while getting some work done. And so that is a gift card. You can win that gift card if you pick the right phrase, or actually you send me a phrase and we'll see if your phrase gets picked. So phrases, words and or phrases in 2020 that when this year is over with, you hope you never, ever hear again. Okay. And if the phrase has already been taken, I've already taken the name down of the folks who wrote it down, put it in the comment section. So I'm going to let you know the phrases that have already been taken. If you're new to the broadcast, hey, thanks for stopping by tonight. I really appreciate that. You might get enter in too. Phrases that we hope we never hear again when 2020 is over. Social distancing. New normal. 6 feet, man. Stop hoarding the toilet paper. Where were you quarantined in these challenging times? Shut down, not a lockdown. Stay home. We're all in this together. Unprecedented. Murder hornet. New cases are. Face coverings for all. Carol Baskin murdered her husband. Racist. Breaking news. Joe Biden for president. Coronavirus. Hashtag Rona. You have to wear your mask. Let me get your temperature. That's a little uncomfortable. And flatten the curve. So, Foo in the house tonight. Hey, Foo. Good to see your name coming up there. On a Friday night? I know. That's pretty cool. All right. So, Dottie, glad you made it tonight. Kathy, glad to see your name coming up there as well tonight. All right. I am going to, since I'm flying solo, I did have something that came to Teresa. Teresa has joined the contest. Okay, how about this? Pandemic. Yeah, tired of hearing that. We have to throw that one in there, Teresa. I have the rest of these written down, so we'll get on there pretty quickly. All right. Let's get, you know what? I'd like to talk about numbers, and I am going to mention one thing about numbers tonight. I really don't want to get too much into the specifics, although we could get into the specifics. We could look at those a little bit later on. But because when I'm flying solo on this, it's always one of those things of, you could get an opportunity preached to just a little bit. And I do have a license. So you may get a little bit of just sharing, but I really feel like tonight, I felt like I just wanted to share something positive, and it was on my mind earlier this week because of where we are in the year, and we were supposed to have a guest tonight. That guest had to reschedule and will be on Tuesday. So the guest that was supposed to be here tonight will be on Tuesday. Sorry, I said I had a guest tonight. And oh my goodness, Jackie Carner. Man, it is just absolutely fantastic to see your name come up on the screen. You are the man, and I want to see you again sometime soon. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you stick around, Jackie. That'd be great. Elizabeth. And you know what, Elizabeth, for the first time now, your name has come up on my screen as Elizabeth Schomer. So cool. That is really neat. And congratulations on all the family. Just got to see some pictures recently. Hope you and Josiah and everyone is doing well. All right. So didn't give blood yesterday. And I didn't give blood today. Now, yesterday was a little bit of a weird day, and my entire schedule for the day changed. I wasn't really feeling that well yesterday, which is just weird for me because I don't worry, it wasn't that kind of sick. I just, a little bit worn down, and just from everything that we did for the day, did some stuff around the house, just decided it probably wasn't a good decision to give blood. Take a little medicine too, so, one of those things. But I was going to give blood today, and I didn't. And right now I'm tossing a few things back and forth. Here's why. I was given information that it's possible that the numbers from the COVID-19, there we go, I said it, just thank you, just got the left-footed fellowship from YouTube for that, I'm sure. Hi, Jamie Templeton. Hi, Michelle. Glad you guys are on tonight. So I got information that it's possible that antibody tests that have shown up are also being counted toward positive COVID-19 numbers. Now, there are a number of things wrong with that if that is the case. And I have researched this over the last 2 days. I got this a couple of nights ago. And the only story I'm seeing, there's only one story I'm seeing. It comes from, and that was the story that was there. It comes from lifescience.com. And throughout the story, it is quoting information from The Atlantic. Now, I don't know if you've read The Atlantic or not, but The Atlantic is not a publication that I am going to be putting a lot of trust in. There is an agenda there, and they're not going to tell you their agenda, but there is an agenda there. And so I'm not putting a lot of trust. So I wanted a second source. And I'm yet to see that second source. And I thought I had gotten the second source today. So got information from Facebook that someone in Missouri had taken the test, gotten results back for positive antibodies. And yes, I did see that. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, Mrs. Patriot. I did see that you had sent that article. I haven't had a chance to go through it, please. Oh, I know. That was the Kaylee McEnany meme I said please from. Anyway, second article said someone had gotten a positive antibody test, and this person was concerned that the results were being sent in also as positive results, which that's not the case. And here's why. So let's read from, I can't, this is on my phone, so I couldn't put it up as the, so you can see it. So I'm going to read to you from the test result. Okay, here's the antibody positive test result. It says, your results were positive. This means these antibodies were detected in the sample you provided. Your results suggest that you've been exposed to SARS-CoV-2, which is in parentheses COVID-19. Antibodies typically suggest protective immunity from further infection. However, as evidence is still being collected to determine if these antibodies provide protective immunity against SARS-CoV-19. So basically what it's saying is it's not saying anything. We don't know. Let's go down a little further here. FDA disclaimers. Negative results do not rule out SARS-CoV-19. Wow. Okay. Also, positive results. I'm going to read this. I'm reading this verbatim, and I guess I could put this up on the website or something. Positive results may be due to past or present infection with non-SARS-CoV-19 coronavirus strains, such as coronavirus HKU1, coronavirus NL63, coronavirus OC43, or coronavirus 229E. Did you know there were that many coronavirus? See, we feel like that I've already been kicked off YouTube, so I said coronavirus a multitude of times. We feel like the beer bug is one thing. The beer bug's been around for a while. This is a specific beer bug. This is 2019's beer bug. So again, FDA disclaimers. Negative results do not rule out SARS-CoV-19 infection. Positive results may be due to past infection with other coronaviruses. So again, I don't understand how anyone can use the word expert with this thing, because there are no experts. Nobody is sure about anything. Now, they're sure about the power that they'd like to wield, but nobody's sure about anything. So there's that. I'm still researching that. Mrs. Patriot sent me an article from Texas, and the headline, the article from Texas reads this: Is Texas inflating its COVID-19 testing numbers by including antibody tests? So, by the way, Governor Abbott in Texas has been in all kinds of trouble for the last week and a half because numbers are going up, numbers are going up, numbers are going up, numbers are going up. Are the numbers then going up because of positive antibody tests? We'll have to read the article and find out. You may know. I don't know. We're going to get a second or third or fourth source on this before we go with it. So just keep that in mind. We'll try to give some positive news across the way. Anyway, it is June 26th. June 26th. And the reason I say that is because the year is almost halfway over, and we're going to get to something tonight that I want to share with you, and I want to encourage you in something. I really hope that, I know viewing numbers are a little bit down tonight. It's a Friday night at 9 o'clock. So I'm fine with that. Hopefully they'll increase a little bit, and I realize that viewing numbers, it's a revolving door. That's fine. But stick around for a little bit longer after I read the advertisers' names here. And we're going to get into something tonight that I hope that you are encouraged by and you take an opportunity to put into practice. Okay? So we'll do that and go from there. You know, the Bryan County Patriot has lots of cool advertisers, and I don't just say this. I'm telling you, the folks who advertise on the Patriot are flat out cool people, and I appreciate that. We have lots of cool people in Bryan County, and I really appreciate the folks who advertise. We got to visit with one of them last night. That was incredibly cool. Also advertising here on the Bryan County Patriot, including the folks at Green Spray, Hub Club Nutrition, Inside Texoma Engraving, and Susan, if you're watching, shout out. I did get your message. Didn't want to say hi to you today. Missed my opportunity. Omnicare 365, SNL Collision Center, Studeville Chevrolet, Workout Anytime. Ronna got to visit with the boys today. Good visit. Blackburn Plumbing and Air, Cherokee Communications, and let's give a shout out one more time, though, to the Durant Riding Club. Put on a great pro rodeo, and so there we are. All right. Shelly, glad you joined tonight as well. Hello from Tulsa. Jeff Shelburne, my goodness. And you stopped by on a Friday night. How about that? So we did get to visit with somebody cool last night who is in Tulsa right now. See, I had to make sure I locked him in before he went to Tulsa for the weekend so that I would get him in while it was still sort of rodeo week. I mean, we made rodeo week into a second week, and that's all right. We can do that. Okay. We're halfway through the year. Now, again, we could get into numbers. I think I'll wait till Monday because I think the numbers are going to be high enough Monday that we talk about it again, and it's worth talking about. I did see this again, a whole flatten the curve thing. Folks, it looks like this when you talk about positive cases. It looks like this when you talk about deaths. Just a slight increase on hospitalizations. If you're hearing that the hospitals are filling up, according to the numbers that we're seeing, that's not true. Somebody in a hospital, tell me if that's wrong. But the numbers that we're seeing, that's not true. And I would imagine that would be something that would cause people in Oklahoma City or Austin or, Topeka or Little Rock. I know a lot going on in Arkansas right now. Jefferson City, D.C., whatever. Don't make D.C. a state. We can get into that next week anyway. I think the bill's on the table today. There's so many things wrong with that. I don't even believe it's constitutional. I believe it's actually unconstitutional to make D.C. a state. We can get to that another time. Those should be the numbers that people are looking at. The curve's been flattened. Across the country, the daily rate of deaths that have been attributed to, by the way, I say attributed to, not from COVID-19 because it's a farce in some case, but the deaths that have been attributed to COVID-19, they've gone down. Earlier this week, it was down one day like 90%. I mean, these numbers have gone down and people are still freaking out. Well, there's a second wave coming. Well, it's not here. One of the things we need to look at the end of this year, by the way, we need to look at the total people who have passed and line that up against 2019 deaths in the United States, 2018 deaths in the United States, 2017 deaths in the United States, 2016 deaths in the United States, and see if the number is close. Because here's where it would make a difference. If the total number of deaths, oh, you're barrel racing tonight, Jeff. You're barrel racing? No, I saw the belt buckle. Anyway, go get them. Have fun barrel racing. Okay, if total number of deaths is this in 16, this in 17, this in 18, this in 19, and this in 2020, and the difference is made up of people whose deaths were attributed to the beer bug, that's an issue. But if the deaths are here in 16, here in 17, here in 18, here in 19, and maybe just slightly more, or here in 20, hi, Rana. Well, it's nice to see you tonight. Gave a shout out, by the way. Workout Anytime was on our segment of advertisers to get to talk about tonight. So thanks for stopping by. Got to visit with the boys today. Great visit. I'm looking forward to next week. So, all right. So we're not going to talk about numbers there. I want to talk about something positive now. I want to lift you up, and I want to encourage you in these challenging times. Okay, so that's what I want to do tonight. I have, where is it? Okay, here's the list. And by the way, if you want to win the gift card, you got to come up with your least favorite phrase from 2020 that hasn't already been picked, the phrase that you want to see gotten rid of. And we're going to take those to a panel, and we will announce the winner next week. So today and tomorrow, last 2 days, to enter into the drawing for the Opera House gift card, which is brought to us by Texoma Financial Services and Ronnie Walters. Okay, let's get rid of this sheet for a moment. This right here, now, it does have words on the front. On January 1st, of 2020, I sat down at this very table and I wrote on this very sheet of paper. And I wrote down goals. And I wrote down some vision and just some things that I wanted to see done. Just took a little time. I mean, we got to see some football and got to watch some other things. Hi, Butch. Thanks for joining tonight. We got to see a number of things. Of course, New Year's Day stuff. And we spent, I think the bulk of the day we spent here, which is weird. We usually spend it at Whoville. We spent it here and, again, watched football and stuff. I came out here to the studio and just wrote some things down. Just thought for a little bit, wrote some things down. And that was, for the most part, and you can see there are a couple other things up here that were personal, but for the most part, it was things business-wise. And put them all there. Something that I could see for 2020. Now, I realize probably everyone, I mean, I can't imagine anyone looking at 2020 saying, wow, there's going to be a pandemic. You know, I saw a couple of tweets that people had predicted that. That's just pretty weird. But they couldn't possibly have seen all the things that have come from this. And so when you look at 2020 and you're looking and going, wow, man, this year has turned out so much different than I thought it would. And you know, I still remember March 12th. I remember when the sports world went sideways. It was the day, March 11th is when the Utah Jazz player tested positive for the beer bug, and then there were two, and the NBA shut down its season, which may come back. I know they said they would, but I'm still waiting. And then March 12th, everything. I mean, NCAA tournament, gone. Major League Baseball next season, gone. All these things, gone. National Hockey League, gone. Everything just went away. And it was really easy to look at that, and that's all you could see was what we've lost. And that's a challenge. When you're constantly, if you are constantly looking at the things that you've lost, it's tough to be able to get anything ahead. It's tough to be able to go further. You know, if you're constantly looking at that, and it's tough for me. I mean, my business is sports. Hi, Jason. Thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate that. Hi, Paula. My business is sports. And of all these sports websites that I have, you know, all of a sudden, there's nothing to write about. There's nothing to talk about. Now, I realize some of those things have changed since then, but for a significant amount of time, their sports was out the window. And I appreciate the Bryan County Patriot, and I'm glad that we had the Bryan County Patriot. It was something that I could keep going with, and then, you know, God opened up the door for me to get to visit with you all on a nightly basis and with the BCP Live, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But I've gone back and I've been looking, and I look at this paper every now and again, and I've been looking at this paper again. And I'm looking at my vision, and I'm looking at my goal for 2020. And I had to stop for a minute this week and look at it because I thought, how in the world is some more of this stuff going to get done? I mean, when I wrote this down, nobody saw a pandemic. Nobody knew what COVID-19 was. Who would have ever thought that the March Madness would not be? But I kept looking at this and looking at this. And you know, some of these goals have already been achieved in 2020. Some of these things have already been done. I've looked from the business side. I mean, I had never had a website with 10,000 page views in a day before, and that's happened a number of times on more than one of my sites. It's pretty cool. You know, we're shooting for some really big numbers on the Bryan County Patriot page this year. And shout out to all the advertisers. You're in the right place. You're in the right place. Because that website's growing, even through all this. One of the things that was on here, and this happened actually before the bug hit, but we wanted to see, you know, I was praying for snow. And the coolest thing about this is that snow hit the ground in Bryan County on 2 days this year. One of them was January 11th, my birthday, and the other one was February 6th, the twins' birthday. And we wanted to have snow on the twins' birthday, and we actually were able to gather enough snow to make snow cream. We put it in the freezer and we had it later. But still, we got snow from each of our birthdays, and that was cool. And that's actually one of the things that I saw here. And I want to bring up something here for you to look at. Let's get it a little bigger. There we go. All right. So we're looking at this here, and this is Habakkuk 2:2. Now, if you've okay, I told you I could preach a little bit tonight, but I do have a license, so bear with me. Habakkuk 2. And it says in the King James Version, it says, "And the Lord answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets that he may run that reads it." Okay. I'm going to read to you out of the Amplified too. If you look down here, it's the Amplified as well. "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, engrave it so plainly upon tablets that everyone who passes may be able to read it easily and quickly as he hastens by." Now, I wanted to share that with you tonight because I thought that was really cool. By the way, Jason, appreciate the sports emojis tonight to go with the little I like the shamrocks too. I wanted to share that with you because I want to encourage you. We're halfway through this year. And if this year has been, I know for many of us it's been a struggle. I can't imagine it being anything less than a struggle for just about all of us. I mean, we've struggled in some way or another, but we're still here. We're still moving forward. We're still pushing ahead. And maybe you haven't seen everything that you wanted to do. You know, there's another thing on here. I wrote down 4 debts that I wanted to be paid in full, paid off. 4 of them. I had a couple more I'm working on, but 4 of them I thought, you know, this is doable. I can do this at the start of the year. 2 of them are already done. There are 2 more. Man, and you know what? I guess I'm on the right pace. Halfway through the year, we got 2 of them done. Things that are on there, it's important that we write these things down. I want to encourage you, write these things down. We are at the halfway point now in this year. Halfway through. We've half of it, almost halfway through. I know it's probably around July 2nd or 3rd, something like that. I think that's halfway point exactly. But we're nearing the halfway point of this year. We have a whole second part of this year. Now, I realize part of us is going, dear Lord, what can they come up with next? I mean, we've gone from from the beer bug to murder hornets, and now the Saharan dust has set in Bryan County. If you haven't seen the Saharan dust, it's here. The Saharan air lane, just in case you were unfamiliar with that. I've never heard of that in my life. Oh, well. Hey, Lisa, shout out from the Bottle Rodeo tonight. Man, we got people at rodeos and barrel racing all around the state of Oklahoma and watching the BCP Live tonight. Susan, I am glad that you're here. I saw your message earlier today. Just want to give you a shout out. I meant to stop by earlier and I didn't. Forgive me. Write it down. I want to encourage you now. Write it down so that you can see it and so that you can see it plainly. And the Amplified translation of that said, so that he that sees it can read it quickly and easily as he hastens by. That sounds like 2020. We're so much in a hurry. We've got to go from here to here to here to here to here. We barely have time to think. We're hastening by so many other places. Get this thing in front of you. Write down what you want to see. Write down what you want to do in the remainder of 2020. It may have changed since the start of 2020. It might have grown since the start of 2020. You may have done this to this point. You're like, wow, this is really cool. How did I even get this far? I need to write down some more. Put it in front of you. Write it down so you can see it. Use that imagination and find a way to grow. God gave you imagination. That is so cool. God gave you imagination. Well, they may have said that the dust comes every year, Jamie, but they're making a real big deal of it this year. I don't know. It's the quote unquote Godzilla dust cloud. God gave you an imagination, and it wasn't meant to be something that was bad. Wasn't meant to be something that was evil. Wasn't meant to be something that to be looked down on. God gave you that imagination. Did you know God has an imagination? He does. God has an imagination. Think about this for just a moment. All the way back in the beginning, all the way back to the very first book of the Bible in Genesis, where it said that God was looking at, and he said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Another translation says it more directly. Light be. I think the Hebrew Bible says it like this. Be light made. And light was. And light shot out in 186,000 miles a second in all directions because God said light, and it was. And here's the thing about that. God wasn't surprised when the light happened. He knew it, and he wasn't surprised by what it looked like. He knew what it was going to look like when he said light be. You know why? He saw it. He had an imagination. God has an imagination. And he does. And he has a sense of humor too. Exactly right. God has an imagination. He knew what was going to look like. He knew what this was going to look like. He knew what that was going to look like. When he made the plants, he knew what they were going to look like. He knew what the oxygen molecules were going to look like so that we could be here on this planet. When he made the animals, he put the animals out there. He knew what they were going to look like, knew what the plants were going to look like. God said it, and it was. But he had already thought about it up here. He used his imagination. I want to encourage you tonight to use your imagination. I realize, like I said, viewing numbers are down on these things. I'm not talking about beer bug numbers. That's all right. I'm talking about the positive. Use that imagination. Write something down. I have already today added to my list that I made on January the 1st, sitting here at this table. Things that I want to see. You know, I want to see this business grow. The Patriot's growing. The websites are growing. Sports websites actually growing. I can see. I've actually made a map of the states that I am reaching into with sports coverage for small colleges and high school, and I can see it, and I look at it every day, and I'm watching that reach grow. And it's not just something. That's not a Joey thing. I'm just saying it's something I'm seeing happen. I put it in front of me, One of the things I've written down here, man, I want to see. I want to see a new studio. Okay, I'll share that vision with you tonight. If you're watching tonight, then you get in on this. Okay, I want to see a new studio, and I'm getting in my head what it's going to look like and how it's going to come about. And that for all you all that have been watching me with this studio all this time, thank you, man. Mrs. Patriot, helped me get the mic, and of course I've got some other things that are in here. And by the way, thank you, Mrs. Patriot, because I think I like the microphone. I really do. Dottie knows I like the microphone. We're friends. I want to see a new studio. I have things in my head of things I want to see and how I want to see it get done and how it's going to come about. And I'm looking at it. I think this is going to happen. I'm using my imagination. I'm bringing it to me. And so, God put those things out there for a reason so that we could go further and go further. And anyone who's invented anything has used his or her imagination. And that's cool. So I just want to encourage you in that tonight. And I may mention this just a little bit tomorrow. We'll see. But write something down. See yourself doing something big in these next 6 months. And I know a lot is going to happen in the next 6 months. I know the national news is going to try to freak us all out in the next 6 months. I know that there's a lot at stake with elections coming up. There's an election coming up in Bryan County on Tuesday. By the way, people were asking, and we've talked about this here on BCP Live before. Let me remind you again, too late for you to change your party affiliation. If you were going to vote in the sheriff's race, the only ones who can vote are those who are registered Republican, because all three candidates were registered Republican, and so it's a primary. It's going to wind up being the election. So that's just the way it is. And sorry if you didn't know that already. We have talked about that here on more than one occasion on BCP Live. So there you go. A lot's going to happen in the next 6 months. Okay? Write it down now so you're not surprised. Okay? Write it down. And even if you want to see things happen in your government, write those things down so you can see them and look into them and prepare yourself. I would just encourage you, again, I just want to encourage you, prepare yourself to do well. Don't prepare yourself to fail. Don't think about how everything can go wrong. You need to prepare just in case things go wrong, but don't try to find ways for things to go wrong. Look ahead. Don't look at all the things. Then we've all lost something from this year already. All of us have. The seniors 2020 lost some things, and I think they gained some things as well. Everyone has lost something from this year. But let's not dwell on the things that we've lost. Let's write it down. Let's think, look ahead, and just like that scripture said, write the vision and make it plain. I specifically have down here numbers of what I want to do. There's some financial things too. I'm not going to tell you about all the financial things. There's some financial things here too. There's some goals and things I'd like to achieve personally. A couple more debts, things for the businesses, page views, subscribers for the YouTube channel. Definitely have goals for subscribers for the YouTube channels. I share those with you every now and again. Things for the studio, man. And you know what the thing about it is? They're specific things. Don't be afraid to be specific. Write it down, look at it, and then put it in a place where you can look at it as you hasten by, as you go by quickly. You can look at it, see it, there it is. That's what I want to accomplish this year. And find yourself working your way toward that. Wow. All right. Well, Mrs. Patriot knows that I can preach for a long time if given the opportunity. And here's the thing, even about preaching for a long time. The fewer amount of notes that I have, the more likely it's to go long. If I have notes, I constrain myself to a certain amount of time a lot better. If I don't have notes, the likelihood of me going a long, long time is so much more present. So, Stephanie, if you are still watching, thanks for watching tonight. It's good to see your name come up there too. If you're watching tonight and I have not given you a shout out personally, then please forgive me. The name didn't come up on one monitor, and I didn't see a comment on the other one. So One more night. You have one more night after tonight to get entered into the competition for the Opera House Coffee gift card, otherwise known as My Office on 2nd and Evergreen. So the Opera House Coffee gift card, which is presented by Texoma Financial Services and Ronnie Walters. All right. Did I miss anything? Anyone? Habakkuk 2:2. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put that down there. Habakkuk 2:2. There you go. It is now in the notes. So there we go. We have people in Boswell at the rodeo watching. Thanks for watching, Lisa. We have people up in Tulsa at barrel racing watching. Thank you. Judy, you are watching too. Thank you for putting something in the comments section. I appreciate that. All right. Well, if that's the case, then we'll do this one more time this week, and we will head into the weekend. Of course, Sunday is on the way, and that's always a really cool time. This week is fireworks week. Next week is fireworks week. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about fireworks too. So keep that in mind. And look, be wise. Seriously, be wise. Use discretion, but do not walk in fear. I'm going to read the article that Mrs. Patriot sent me tonight. And hey, cuz, man, thanks for stopping by tonight. Appreciate that, Marla. We have the article that Mrs. Patriot sent me, so I'll read that and I'll check up on that and see. And then we also will have numbers. I don't know if I want to go over live numbers. We'll see what numbers look like tomorrow. We may go over those tomorrow. Definitely we'll go over them on Monday, and there will be another post, I'm sure, some in the next 3 or 4 days on the Patriot, on the website itself, talking about the local numbers. I don't know what's with the state website. They got off again. They were back in line with the county data and the city data, and then they got off again yesterday. So I don't know who's doing what or plugging in. I don't know why certain towns in Bryan County aren't just naturally plugged into Bryan County numbers, but it seems it's weird. I think people are doing this manually, and they just didn't get that county lesson down in Oklahoma history. I had Oklahoma history when I was in 9th grade. Granted, that was, in the last millennium, but still, I did have the class. So there's that. All right. So be wise, use discretion, and do not walk in fear. No matter how much people want to try to get you to walk in fear, do not walk in fear. Don't do it. Don't do it. We have flattened the curve. Hate that phrase. Tired of that phrase. We flattened the curve. We're doing well. Case numbers are going up. Yes. Deaths aren't. And I don't believe they're going to. And I still believe, by the way, I'll say this really quickly, still believe that as quickly as this stuff set in, as quickly as it became a thing, I believe it's going to go away that quickly. Now, it may happen on November 4th after the election, and no one ever talks about it again because people will have gotten what they wanted. Yeah. But don't walk in fear. No virus determines your future. No chart says who lives or who dies. Do not walk in fear. Teresa, thank you very much for your comments every night that keep me going. Brian, never have fear. We can have respect and not have fear. There is a huge, humongous difference in the two. Yes, I know what I just said. All right. That it? Hey, we're going to get done before the 40-minute mark. I'm going to get out of here tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. How about that? I love you all. I do. God bless you all. Have a great, great night.